Hi Freelancer, welcome to Season 3 of the Freelance Blueprint. I'm your host Lisi, a freelance UX designer and digital nomad, and today we're joined by, well, it's just me, no guest interview this time. And I'll tell you why in a second. If you've been following the podcast from the beginning, you know I'm a big advocate for making work fit around your life rather than the other way around. And while I absolutely love interviewing people and learning about their freelance journeys, managing podcast interviews on top of freelancing full time and opening a co-living space in Southeast Asia has been a bit of a challenge. So finding times that work across different time zones, sometimes rescheduling the interviews with the podcast guests, it was a bit difficult. But don't worry, those interviews are going to come back. This podcast has been so much fun, and the feedback I got from you has been amazing. The first Spotify Wrapped I got showed that the Freelance Blueprint was actually in the top 5 podcasts for some of you, which means so much. So knowing that, even if it's just one person who actively listens, it's worth doing. And I love connecting with other freelancers. You know me, you know that I use this podcast as an excuse to just chat to other fellow freelancers. And hearing from you when you share how an episode has helped and resonated with you, it's such a nice feeling. So I'll bring those interviews back, but for this season, I'm gonna experiment with some solo episodes. So today I want to focus on a topic that I think many freelancers forget about once they're past their early stage and they get busy freelancing. Often we get so overwhelmed with work that we lose track of why we started freelancing in the first place. So this is a reminder for myself too. I recently realized I've been working way too much, and between freelancing full-time, doing the podcast, the co-living space in Sri Lanka, I just put way too much on my plate. And I didn't enjoy things as much as I used to because I was thinking about work all the time. I was thinking of my massive to-do list all the time. And my life started to evolve around work, not the other way around. So something had to go. I decided it was time to pause the podcast to concentrate on the co-living. And it's something any freelancer should do. Pause and reflect on your life balance. Do you live to work or do you work to live? And a co-living project is so different to a freelance project. If this was a video game, freelancing feels like level 5, and opening co-living, especially in Asia, feels like level 1000. Like things don't go as planned ever. And when someone tells you something takes 2 days, it usually takes 2 weeks. And yeah, if anything happens at all. But that experience has also shown me how important customer service is. Being a client in some cases, instead of the person providing the service, you see things from a different angle. It's the same for freelancing. You will stand out when, and most of you fellow UX designers listening to this will know this, when you provide a great experience, a great customer service. And it's not just about completing the task that someone hired you to do, but delivering on time, communicating clearly, over-communicating, building trust with clients so they know they can rely on you to finish the task. And the quality of the work you deliver is important, but it's not as important as the experience they have working with you, because their experience is the reason why they might recommend you. But let's get back on topic for this episode. The thing most freelancers forget after a while is that your career should fit around your life, not the other way around. And that's why I don't like the term work-life balance. It should be life-work balance, but that sounds a little odd. So, how can you achieve this? Here's a simple exercise to help. You can do this exercise along with the podcast, or you can take notes and do it later, but I'll recap the steps towards the end of the episode anyway. But here's what you do. First, you write down every single task you do in your freelance business, no matter how small it is. It can be answering emails, deleting your spam emails, setting up a call with a client, writing proposals for new gigs, actually doing the freelance client work, and all the things that you do. So go ahead, press pause and write down all the tasks you do, and then come back to this episode once you're done. Or, you can just continue listening to it. But don't get distracted if you pause, come back to the episode. So once you got your list, you go through all of the items and you identify what you genuinely enjoy doing and what feels a little draining. For example, I love getting an email with a new lead in my inbox, but that's not something I actively do. So something that just happens, well, it doesn't just happen. You put systems in place for clients to know that you work, but that's a different topic. So that's something I enjoy doing, but I'm not such a fan of getting the back and forth, writing the emails of, okay, when are you available of a call? Send me a bit more detail about the project. I'd rather hop on the call. Or I love a good UX challenge, coming up with the user flows for a new app, but I've set up so many component libraries in Figma, it feels exhausting to push pixels. So there are things that I enjoy doing and I there are things that I don't enjoy doing as much. But others might enjoy those things. So what is exhausting for me doesn't mean it will be exhausting for you. Maybe you enjoy doing component libraries. Maybe you enjoy the back and forth emailing. Highlight the stuff, what it is for you on that list, and then look at all the things that you actually enjoy and what you don't enjoy doing. All right, now you've done that. Look at all the tasks you don't enjoy. And if you find yourself doing any of these repetitively, you can probably outsource them or put a system in place. So what's a system? It sounds complicated, but it's basically just a simple checklist for all the things you do over and over again to standardize it, to make it a simple routine, because that way you fast track it. And you don't have to do that yourself. Once you have the checklist, once it's repeatable, you can tell someone else to do it. You can hire an assistant for it. And outsourcing is such a game changer. Like, trust me, like one thing I always tell anyone to outsource is accounting, because it's just, most of us freelancers are probably not the best with numbers, or like accounting is like a whole job on its own. So that's the one thing I highly, highly, highly recommend that you outsource. But like I mentioned before, for example, the back and forth emailing for setting up a call with clients, it's something that happens a lot and it can be very time consuming. You can build a simple system by just having email templates you send to them, or you can be a bit smarter and set up a simple Calendly link. If you don't know what Calendly is, where have you been? It basically syncs with your calendar. So anyone with your Calendly link can book an appointment with you directly in a time slot that works for you. And no, this podcast is not sponsored by Calendly, but it's such an amazing tool that it's easy to use and it saved me a ton of time. So I'm always recommending it. But there are also alternative tools that you can use for free. For example, maybe you remember the podcast episode I had with Ben. He is the founder of the Full Scope Freelancer, and it's basically one software for everything you would need as a freelancer, and it includes one of those booking systems where you can just send a link and people book into your calendar. So you can try that one out for free. If you want, I also can add the affiliate link that he put me in the description, and basically when you sign up with that, your trial, I think instead of 1 week, it's 2 weeks or something like that. So feel free to try it out. But back to the topic. So you've looked at all the things you do, at all the things you enjoy and don't enjoy doing, and what of those things you can replace with a system. So what do you do next? Well, of course, you have to set those things in place. It's not just, okay, what can I put in a system? Find that system that you can replace it with. And also, the next step is adding some fun to your work and eliminating the things that aren't as much fun. I mean, you will not always be able to eliminate those things, but you can add more things that you enjoy, or you can make the things that you don't enjoy as much a little bit more enjoyable. And for that, it's very important to set boundaries with your clients, but that's a different topic for a different episode. But for example, I try to reserve calls for a specific day each week so I can focus on the actual UX work and I don't get distracted all the time if someone asks me to hop on a quick call or sends me a Slack message. And I set these expectations with my clients from the start of our client relationship. And it might feel awkward, but it's crucial to establish those early on and always refer to your own policies, especially with long-term clients who may forget that you're not an employee, that you're a freelancer. Those boundaries make sure your clients don't cross a line and you don't burn out. It makes your work life sustainable and helps you maintain the freedom that's often something why we started freelancing in the first place. So how do you set boundaries with your client? I'm going to put that topic for the next episode. So you can tell I struggle a little bit to keep these on topic without having an interview. It's a little bit more tricky to do these episodes and it's just me waffling around. So if you made it this far, congratulations and thank you. So, okay, next step. It's about adding more fun to the things that are a little bit less exciting to do. So how can you add more fun? And basically you need to add things that are rewarding. For example, you can reward yourself with a co-working session with your freelance friends in your favorite coffee shop. Or if you finish the task that you've been pushing off all the time, you can reward yourself with a nice walk or a massage or whatever it is that you enjoy. Find out what it is that you like doing. Add pauses into your work life and make it fun. Like you can put on a playlist, you can work with your friends. Like that's the nice thing when you're your own boss, like you choose your colleagues. And don't forget, your work fits around your life, not the other way around. You should enjoy your life. As from what I know, we only have this one life, so Let's milk it while we can. But to do that, we also need money, which is another topic for another podcast. But on that note, here's another reminder. Your time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you can never get your time back. So prioritize your mental health, your sleep, your well-being. You don't want to wake up one day realizing you spent all your life working for something you end up never being able to enjoy because you pushed off the fun parts. This is also something I constantly remind my coaching clients. Make your work fit around your life, not the other way around. So let's sum it up. How do you create a work environment that fits around your life? First, you write down everything you do for work. Second, you highlight what you enjoy doing and look at all the things you don't enjoy doing. Third, you create systems for the things that you don't enjoy doing and you outsource them when you can. And fourth, you set boundaries to protect your time and energy and not slip back into making work overtake your life, because it can happen. Trust me, it happened to me a lot. And don't forget to have some fun. So work remotely with your friends in a coffee shop, change your workspace. Maybe you just want to add a nice candle, or I don't know, do something nice, do something that makes you look forward to sitting on your desk. After all, the beauty of freelancing is that you're in control. You don't have to ask your boss for permission to take time off. You're the boss, so make it work for you. That's it for today. I'd love to know what you think of these type of episodes. Did you find it useful? Did you prefer the interviews? Do you feel called out? If you're listening on Spotify, you can simply reply to this episode. Let me know what you think of it. If you're watching this on YouTube, just comment below how you feel about this new format. But if you're listening on Apple or anywhere else, you can also reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is @Elisabeth Elisabeth with an S, Mayr. And I want to make this podcast as useful for you as possible, so your feedback would be very valuable. If you like this episode or you think someone else could benefit from listening, you can share it with your friends, or you can leave a 5-star rating. But yeah, that's it from me, and I can't wait to have you join again next week, where we are going to talk about setting boundaries with your clients. So thanks for listening. Bye.